the many, yeah. You know, I'm kind of a believer of, you know, if you make it, they will come, or they will buy, or something like that. But we had issue 1 done. Again, started off as really a passion project. During COVID, my husband said, you know, this passion project of yours is costing a lot of money. When are you going to start making money? And I'm like, oh, I have to make money at this. Okay. So I guess I have to get the comic book in comic book stores. And so I love listening to Katie because I'm on the other side. So I started calling comic book stores and I said, hey, you know, I'm an indie publisher. You know, I've got this great book. Let me tell you about it. And they're like, oh, no, stop. Stop right there. You're indie. We don't carry indies. They just don't sell. You know, I had so many comic book store owners, most of them now, tell me that they don't take indies. So I said, you know what? Let me do this a different way. You know, to Liz's point about intuition, and you know, I think women, you know, we are very much about relationships, and so I started walking into all these comic book stores, and I said, hey, I'm a comic book publisher. Here's my comic, and I had them look at it, and they're like, oh, this isn't what I thought you were all about, and I'm like, yeah, try us out. So then we started very slowly but surely getting these comic book stores to take our book on consignment, and then, oh, all of a sudden they started selling. And so the second, third time we would go in there, they're like, oh, we don't need to do it on consignment, we'll just buy them. Because we know that they can sell. And it literally was just going in and guerrilla marketing, believing in what your product was, and you know, kind of sticking to it, to say, hey, you know, look at this. It's not just a typical indie. Had a great store, we had great artists, the 9 yards. And that was kind of our biggest challenge, to finally just kind of break through that, until we actually did get a publisher that said, oh, you have something here. And, you know, so now we are in bookstores, well, I don't know if it's still around.
No. There are new names, Alliance Entertainment. We're all working on that. Comic industry's a little in flux right now. We'll see what next Tuesday's like.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we have our issues now in graphic novel format. So, you know, we're in the Barnes and Nobles now, the Amazons, in the Philippines, it's called Fully Booked. But yeah, that was our biggest challenge, was getting people to actually say, yeah, I'll take a chance on you guys.
I am going to sort of wind us down a little bit just so we have a chance for Q&A. What are current projects that everybody has going on, and how can they find you?
We have a project that's going to launch pretty soon on Kickstarter called That Sexy Bear, which sounds completely insane, because I assure you it is. Yeah, it's by Owlin, which is a two-person team, JB3 and Lynn Geisel. They've worked with Iron Circus before on the book How Do You Smoke Weed, which we put out when cannabis was being legalized across the country, and it educated people about different strains and, you know, different effects and stuff like that. But That Sexy Bear, if you can imagine, Yogi Bear was a maid in booty shorts, and Boo Boo was a gigantic muscle mommy named Yaya, and they stole picnic baskets from influencers, and they had completely forgotten to be a bear, how to be bears, so they were subsisting off of trash and misery in a cave somewhere filled with Funko Pops, while being involuntarily turned into influencers themselves by mysterious marketing men in a black sedan. That is That Sexy Bear. It's completely.
Katie needs a moment. I think her brain exploded.
Owlin, yeah. And the crowdfund for that, the preview page is up on Kickstarter right now. It is honestly one of the strangest things I've published in a long time. I don't think you'll be sorry if you check it out.
Hell yeah.
I have several things. If you're a person who buys books, you can go to shop.bookswithpictures.com and find our catalog online, where you can buy books from me, which I highly encourage, because that's how I eat. If you are a creator and you like going to small shows, our annual convention is coming up at Books with Pictures. We close the street, we have tables. Last year there was a terrible freak rainstorm, but in general the weather's very nice. The show is at the end of May. the show's at the beginning of June. Applications close on the 30th of this month, so if you go to bookswithpictures.com, you can find the application for that show. We'd love to consider your work. It's juried, so anyway, that is a thing. And third, if you are an educator or a librarian, I would love to tell you more about the Graphic Novel Library Project, which is this nonprofit that I'm director of. It says director on the, I believe it. Thank you.
The Mask of Halia Volume 2 is now currently on Kickstarter. We're at our last 5 days. It's fully funded, so go check it out. Fully funded within the first 5.5 hours, so thank you to whoever already backed it. Yeah. Yay! We'll be debuting Volume 2 at San Diego Comic-Con if anyone will be there later in the summer this year. Volume 1 covers issues 1 through 5 of our series. Volume 2 is 6 through 10. 200-page deluxe graphic novel. Looks beautiful. I say it looks great as a coffee table book after you're done reading it. It has a behind-the-scenes art book with how we created the art. A lot of our artists are in the Philippines, so it was really important that we supported our local artists out there. A lot of people don't know that a lot of animation, Marvel, DC artists are all sourced. The artists are based in the Philippines, so really important to highlight them and their talented work. The Mask of Halia is a dark, supernatural urban fantasy series about a young Filipino-American girl who goes back to the Philippines for her grandmother's funeral, and there she discovers her ancestral lineage to the Filipino Bicolano lunar moon goddess Halia and her arch nemesis, the Bakunawa, who is a giant sea serpent who ate 6 of the 7 moons in the sky. Halia was the last lunar moon goddess remaining, and every once in a while, Bakunawa will return and try to eat the last lunar moon goddess Halia, and that's why there's a lunar eclipse in the sky. And we're also available to read for free Vertical Scroll on the Hello Hello app, out now for you on Apple and Google Play Store.
And you can find me at spankspr.com. I do every kind of aspect of public relations, as well as social media, as well as branding. If it's not creative, come find me. All right. Does anybody have any questions?